Coach, just you're in the midst of week 2 of your summer access. Just what's been most encouraging?
Yeah, I think just the attitude of the guys. Come in, they've got, they're working their tails off. Really focused, attentive to detail. I think the returners are doing a great job of helping the newcomers acclimate to how we do things. We're trying to take things slow. We haven't even had a full team workout yet, even though we're in week 2. We're trying to kind of build some foundational habits. Every summer, for me, that's probably been one of the bigger adjustments going from D2 to D1. D2, there wasn't summer access. Here there is, and we've done it differently now each of my 3 years, trying to figure out, kind of what the sweet spot is for us. But, been really encouraged by the talent of the group, but just as important, the work ethic piece and the connectivity of the group in terms of watching these guys, the returners, doing a great job of setting the example and helping these young guys, help coaching them. So it's been about as good as it could be here, as we're in week 2.
Coach, have you gotten a chance to see everyone on the court, like for some scrimmages or some little like screen drills, anything like that?
Yeah.
And what's that look like? And what's that been like?
Well, I think we've had a chance to watch our guys. They've played pickup, and we've done it to where we've kind of been able to be out there with the coaches for that. So we're doing some teaching in the mornings with the ball, then we come back and do some teaching without a ball, and then we come back and let them play pickup with coach out there, coaching, reffing, etc. Really impressed. I think, kind of talked about this with Luke here a week ago. I think, the thing that stands out to you is, we're probably much more dynamic than we were last year with the ball. We got a lot of guys who can really, play with the basketball, the ball handling and the passing. I think we shoot it better overall. We're certainly going to miss Voss's 111 threes and Coop's threes, but overall as a group, we shoot it better. And then our positional size. I think, in athleticism, we want to get bigger, more athletic. So I think we've done that in recruiting. And then probably the other piece is the returning guys and their growth. Robbie has really worked hard to change his body. Jabo worked hard to change his body. Jason Kent's made a big jump in his game. Julian Larry, Mason Miller's playing really well. So those guys, we always talk about corporate knowledge and the ability to retain guys, have guys back, how important that is in this system where so much of it is read-based. I think, the returners have really all come back better with their bodies, better with their game, better with their understanding. So, and the new guys have worked their tails off to pick stuff up and seeing, again, the returns done a great job leading those guys. But you got a lot of experienced guys when you look at like a Jake Wolf, who's a 6-year guy, has started on a lot of really good basketball teams. Has about 100 starts in his career. Isaiah Swope, Ryan Conwell, Aaron Gray. Their acclimation process has been quick. Derek Vorse, Eli Shetler for freshmen are doing outstanding. And then, the one guy who hasn't practiced yet is Jaden Daughtry, and it's nothing other than we're waiting on a clearance on a medical deal. So once we expect that clearance here in the next couple days, and once he's fully cleared by our training staff, then he'll be on the practice floor, and that's the one we haven't had out there yet. But he's here watching everything, just not partaking at the moment.
Coach, last year I think fans get to see how well your team shared the basketball. The assist numbers were up there in record comms for Indiana State even and the Valley. Mm-hmm. When you do pick up, you score it in a specific way. Mm-hmm. And at times you described your group already this summer as maybe being too unselfish. Can you expand on why you score, pick up the way you do, and the point system that you do to try to help in terms to get the assist and get sharing the basketball?
Yeah, so when we play the pickup in the afternoon, we just score it to try to give them some constraints and kind of without necessarily constraining it and emphasize what we want to emphasize. So for us, I think we were number 1 in the country in 2-point percentage last year. We were also shot the fewest, long twos. So if you shoot those and pick up, you make them, that's fine. They're just worth 0 points for your team. A paint mid is worth 1. But the things we emphasize, a rim shot is 3. So anything at the rim is a 3. Anything assisted is +1. So if you get a drive kick 3, that's 4. And obviously verticalities are +1, charges, +2. So we kind of try to get into what we're emphasizing with our guys and what we want them thinking about. And so, I think you're out there when Isaiah made that really nice pullback too. And got 0 points. He was confused as to how that worked, but it's how it works. And so, and we'll take some of those constraints off. I mean, if you think about last year, Coop shot and made a lot of mids, and I'm not anti. I'm pro anything that scores an efficient level. So we got a couple guys, Isaiah being one, that can really play in that mid-range area. We think Ryan has the ability to do that as well, but particularly Isaiah at a high level. So the constraints will come off there, but we don't want that being. I think for me, in going to my third year, this is the probably from an offensive standpoint, the most explosive offense we've had, with the guys we've been able to add and the returning guys. So we don't want to bail the defense out in the first, 10 seconds of the clock with a shot that we can get in the last 5 seconds of the clock. And so just getting guys to understand that, getting guys to play together, getting them to think about assists, think about moving the ball, think about making the extra pass. And so, we score it to emphasize the things we want emphasized and pick up. And once we get to practice, we do a lot of the same stuff. We play ODO, and we hopefully, the goal is by the end of this week to be practicing as a team. But right now, the way we're doing it, we're building those habits in the morning, coming back, walking guys through with the returners, kind of demonstrating without a ball, and then we're coming back and getting that 30 minutes of pickup and letting these guys play. And then we're able to show them, through film, kind of things they're doing, things they're not doing, and go back the next morning and kind of break it back down.
Coach, what are some of the biggest opportunities and challenges going from last season where you had a lot of seniors, obviously not here anymore, to a more freshman, junior, and sophomore oriented team?
Yeah, I think, it's in today's era, I think there's two things. One is you want to get old and stay old, right? And I think that's really important. And when we added pieces last year, we added some one-year guys. You look at Cavassier, Trent, Cade. They were Boss wasn't necessarily he was new to the program, but not new to me. The other guys were just new. I think that's important, but I think what's more important and sometimes gets lost in the portal era is getting old together, accumulated mileage together, shared experiences together, right? And so going through that process of, even though I'll take Jake as an example, Wolf, I think he's a really, really intelligent guy, and he's picked up stuff probably the quickest of the newcomers. But even for him, even though he's a 6-year guy, he's got 100 starts in college, there's an acclimation process to how we play, how we defend, what we do offensively. He comes from systems where they do stuff differently. It doesn't make it better or worse, it's just different. And so it's the accumulated experiences together that's most important. But I think this group has been fun because they're so eager to learn. I'm getting calls and texts from different guys, newcomers. After practice, the questions they're asking during practice, during when we're workouts, the things they want to know show that they're locked in. They're really trying to learn what we're doing, and so it's on us to kind of teach them, because it is, counterintuitively you would think that it'd be easy to come out and play the way we play and not have as many patterns and guys could figure it out. But that freedom is really difficult for guys in the beginning because they don't necessarily, well, can I do this and can I do this? And there's, you're really reading it, and so yeah, you can do this or you can do this, and then based on what you do, there's so it's really, and then you have to read what your teammate's doing. So there's some automatic stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that's read-based, and so understanding, how to create advantages, how to keep your advantages, right, is huge. And so we talk a lot about whether it's triggers and respacing and them learning all these concepts, what their teammates do well, but having all this freshness and newness. It's been a nice blend because we've got 5 guys back that really understand what we're doing and are great teammates. Like when you look at Jabo's in his 6th year here, Bledson is in his 6th year in our program, so he knows it probably better than I do. And so I've done this 25 years, smartest player I've ever coached. His ability, he sees it like a coach. When you have somebody out there who's really like an assistant helping coach the guys, that's that's just incredibly valuable. Robbie, really high IQ guy, understands it. Julian, 3rd year here, really understands it. Jason Kent, much better in year 2 in terms of understanding what to do. Mason Miller really gets it. And then those guys are pouring into those players. They're stopping them and correcting them, saying, no, this, no, that. And that's just, when you see that, you have that kind, the guys are picking it up quicker because of not just what we're doing, but because of that group. And it's really made a lot of fun. It's really made it an enjoyable group. And the way they work, this has been, obviously it's early in the summer, but for what you got to do to have a special season, the way these guys come in every day, their approach, their attentiveness has been, what you need for us to take the next step. And we had obviously a great year, but if we want to take that next step, the way they're working, the way they're paying attention to detail, the way they're going about their business, the way they're leading inside is the way we need to operate.
Coach, as you mentioned, the guys, 5 guys come back. There's probably a couple handfuls of guys coming in now. Freshmen, first biggest recruiting class you've had, transfer portal, things like that. Obviously, a lot due to that because people graduated last year, 3 starters, a couple role players. What can you tell me about like what that's been like seeing these guys mesh? I know it's early, it's initial right now, but what can you tell me about what that process has been like and what maybe you envisioned or like what you are learning day by day as you kind of go through the process?
Well, that's part of the, I mean, I think you always try to, when you're recruiting, I think the portal is the hardest thing is making sure that it's not so much identifying talent, it's making sure that they fit, culturally, right? I mean, you want to make sure that somebody fits your system, and that's really important in how they would do and how they would play inside of what you do, because there's guys who are really good players who maybe wouldn't be good players the way we play, and there's other guys who are maybe not, wouldn't be as valuable to others that are really valuable to how we want to do things. The hardest part is figuring out who somebody is, right? The high school guys, there's a much longer runway. You get to know an Eli Shetler over months and months and months, Jaden Daughtry over months and months and months, and Derek Vorst over months and months. You get to know him, his family, the parents. There's a long-term runway to build relationships. And really, the most important part of a player, whether they pan out or don't, is really who they are inside. Until you really know that, it's hard to gauge if they're going to be successful or not because, you won't know. I mean, that's the most important piece of the whole puzzle is the talent, of course, but then, how are they wired? Like, what's the fiber of the person? And it takes a while to get to know that, right? And so in the portal where things are expedited, it's much harder to make sure that you're getting those fits. And but I really felt like we did. I think we got guys that are, talking about guys that are highly competitive, guys that like to work, guys that, play to win, not playing for stats, guys that are about the right things. Like, I think we hit the nail on the head. We really felt like we did that with our freshmen, but certainly the 4 guys in the portal. They're all 4 guys that started where they were. They came into a team understanding kind of the situation where we are and where we want to get to. And they've been fantastic. And so I do think we really try to be diligent about it. It's hard in those speed dating scenarios, but we really do feel like we got, with the 3 freshmen, with the 4 transfers, 7 guys that not only fit us systematically, but fit who we want to be and what we want to be about culturally, what we kind of stand for as a program. And these guys are cut from that same cloth as the 5 guys that are returning.
And then I saw Cam Henry, who graduated, got to work out with a couple teams on the Northwest Coast or West Coast, Sacramento, Portland. Has he told you anything about that? And can you tell me like what the experience of going through something like that, what it's like, just like from like a basketball standpoint, like for an experience of a guy who just graduated and going through that?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, so we had 6 seniors. All of them wanted to play, and so we'll obviously announce as we go along. But Trent signed a contract, he's going to play in the Netherlands. Calix is going to play in Macedonia. Voss is working out in Florida right now in Orlando trying to get some NBA workouts, and we'll see. We think that'll happen. Cam, as you said, Portland, he's already worked out there, and Sacramento. And those are huge, and now he's got a chance here. We think he's working out with the Hornets. And so what those opportunities do is, you're trying to get an invite to the Summer League and get a chance to be in a Summer League with an NBA franchise and go through Summer League in Vegas or Salt Lake City where they do them. And then you get to see kind of, how it lines up, how it went. And the goal being obviously to try to play your way into a 2-way deal, into an Exhibit 10 or obviously, worst case, a G League, contract. And so guys got to make those decisions as they go. But, we really think we're going to wind up with potentially all 6 guys playing somewhere because with Calix already signed, Trent already signed, Cam and Voss are going to play. Coop just got married Saturday, so congrats to him. And Coop's, Coop has already turned down a couple opportunities to play. I think he will play. He wants to. He's waiting for the right spot. And Cade McKnight's had some opportunities. He's waiting for. So we think all 6 guys will be able to play, and that's a huge piece of it. I've been talking to European coaches, talked to 2 this morning that are interested in our guys, and if they want to play, we want to be a place that the way we play, hopefully the system, the player development, the way we go about things makes them attractive to, whether it's NBA, G League, European teams, and that, every senior that comes through that wants to play, hopefully will have that opportunity, to play, post Indiana State. It's not going to be perfect, but if we can go 6 for 6, that'd be about as good as you can do. So thrilled for Cam. He deserves it. He's been hanging around working camp. I've had Cam for 6 years, so I feel like he's going to be here. We're going to go. He and I are going to go to dinner then this week off, but he's been like a son to me. I'm so proud of him.
1 a.m. flights, 7 a.m. workouts.
Yeah. Oh, that's that. You got to be ready to go when those things happen. I mean, they're going to get you in and out, and you better hit the ground running when you get there. There's no time to worry about sleep or anything else. You better be ready to go. And he had a really good workout in Sacramento. I think he did well in Portland as well. And now, like I said, we think the Hornets are going to be next, and so hopefully Voss will get 1 or 2 here coming up as well.
Yeah. I was going to say one more from me, Coach. You've had a chance to see these guys a little bit, your current group, your current setup. Can you tell me about? I asked Robbie this. Any of these guys, could they play ball, like baseball, football, on any of these other ISU teams? Anyone that's a really good athlete, have a good fit for another sport?
Oh gosh,
just in general.
I don't think of anybody tough enough to play football that I'm aware of. I don't think there's anybody on the team tough enough to do that. Baseball, I mean, I think it's been shown. I think I'm the best baseball player in the program. I mean, my ability on the base pass, stopping and starting, turning, first to third. I mean, like stuff like that. I think Mitch could maybe use somebody like me. I don't know if we have anybody. Cooper Neese was a really good baseball guy, so that's a year. I got to see these guys like in their different elements. Coop played the infield. Coop had a good arm. He could hit. He hit a couple home runs. Yeah, Coop was a guy who golfs. I mean, Coop's a natural athlete. Trent's a really good athlete. I got to get to know these guys better to kind of see what they can, what these new guys can do. The returning guys, I mean, there's nobody that pops off as somebody you would want. Julian might be. I could see Julian. I could see Julian being like a safety or a wide receiver. He played quarterback. I haven't seen him throw, but I mean, to be 6'3" and be as quick and as athletic as he is, I would see him as like a Ronnie Lott back there, just hitting people. So,
Robbie
but he's too nice.
Jabo and Julian, what was it?
It was Jason Kent.
Jason. Those would be 2 good. They think they'd be good football players, or not so much.
Well, Robbie also thinks he's a quarterback. He's 6'10", so I don't know. He's also slow. Like he's a super big target. I don't know where he's scrambling to. I mean, you have to have the world's greatest offensive line. And I don't know what Ken's. I don't know. 6'8". What's he do? Where is he going to be on the field? What is he? Receiver? Okay, maybe like as a specialist in the red zone, throw it up to him. Maybe a specialist red zone receiver. I don't know. I gotta see what Ken's doing. I gotta see what his hands are like. How is he making catch across the middle? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
go review the footage from Florida when you guys were on the beach playing.
Yeah, I have to go review the footage there. I gotta look at it. Robbie, like I said, Robbie was a quarterback going up, but I think there's a reason that those guys all came to basketball. I'll say that.
Good or bad. My last question for you, Coach. I mean, you kind of pinpointed earlier the 111 threes of Voss, and you lose him, and then you lose Cooper Neese, who was a great 3-point shooter with his time here at the Sycamores. Do you see anyone from early on that could step up into that 3-point shooter role?
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be collective. I think, when you're looking at it, obviously we had 2 guys that were, Voss, I think, second most threes all time here behind Jordan Barnes. And then, Coop, was one of the all-time great 3-point shooters here at Indiana State, top 5 all time. When you lose great players, it doesn't necessarily work like you just go out and just replace them, and say, all right, you're going to come in and do what, Voss did. You're going to come in and do what Coop did. It's just different. And I think what we have this year with the guys we brought in is more collective shooting. I don't know that we have a guy who's going to make 111 of them, but Isaiah Swope's going to make a lot of threes. Ryan Conwell's going to make a lot of threes. Jake Wolf's definitely capable of making threes. Eli Shetler's as good a shooter as I've ever recruited, I think, So we got a lot of guys. Derek Vorst, even though he's 6'10", I mean, he's got to be shooting 50% from 3, and he makes a bunch of them. He can really, really shoot the basketball here and pick up. He steps out. He's a high-level shooter, shoots it at least as good or better than Robbie from the 3-point line. So he's a guy that we think can make threes. Obviously, Robbie's a fantastic shooter. It's really more, maybe the wealth will be more spread out, but we've got a bunch of guys who can make them. Aaron Gray made 50 threes last year. Jason Ken and Julian are shooting a better Jabo with more confidence. Obviously, we know, I think Robbie's going to take a big jump. He shot in the lower 30s. I can see Robbie getting closer to 40 here as he goes into sophomore year, more confident. So I think, I know we made 340 last year, which was, I think, 70 more than the record for school. I don't know. We're going to make that. It depends how many games we play. But I think overall we're a better three-point shooting team. We got more guys who are capable of making them at a high level, and I think that'll bear itself out. And we got to go out and take good ones and share the ball and do all the the stuff we do to become a team and to play the right way and to get guys to understand what a great shot is and work collectively to generate those. But if we do, we got a lot of guys who can shoot it with a lot of range and get it off quick. And so I think, again, from going into year 3, from an offensive standpoint, obviously made a big jump from year 1 to year 2. You're not going to make the same jump because you're not going to go from, whatever we were, 79.5 to, 90, 85, whatever. But I do think we're going to be significantly improved on the offensive end. I think same thing defensively. The positional size, the versatility we have defensively, the guys we brought in. Ryan's a legitimate, 6'4", 210 as a combo guard. Aaron's 6'7", 6'8 as a big swing. Derek's 6'10". Eli's 6'6". Jaden Daughtry's 6'6", 6'7". We've got a lot of size and more positional size and more versatility than we had last year. Though we made a big jump defensively year 1 to year 2. We were one of the better defensive teams in the Valley. We obviously want to make another significant jump on that end of the floor as well going into year 3.